Okay, so Chief, let's get to meet you. What's your name and what do you do? Who are you generally?
Okay. My name is Chief Ofana Paul Santus. I'm popularly known in the Nigerian business world as Mr. Ogoja Rice. I'm a graduate of business management. I had my first degree in business education. I had a master's degree from the University of Calabar in business management and a PhD in business management in VIO.
Fantastic. Great Malabite, yeah.
Yes. I'm an industrialist, a community leader, and a businessman, generally. I started my business life in 2010 when I established the Ogoja Rice Limited. We started Ogoja Rice Limited from farming. Then sometime in 2012, 2013, we moved into full production of rice in Ogoja in Cross River State. And ever since then, that's what we have been doing. We've moved into production of other agricultural products, like the Ogoja palm oil is also one of our products. The Ogoja unripe plantain flour, which we recently launched into the market, is also one of our products. And we recently joined the Ogoja yam poundo, which is our favorite. As you know, Ogoja is known with a various degree of food, generally. And we took advantage of that very great business climate and opportunity to move massively into production of food, processing and exportation of food. As we speak right now, we're exporting Ogoja rice, Ogoja unripe plantain flour, Ogoja yam poundo to the United Kingdom and Canada. And we also have recently have interest from people who want our product in the Europe. So we are grounded in Ogoja. We are doing our best. Apart from government, I would say we are one of the highest employers of labor in that part of Cross River, because we have factories in Ogoja. We have factory in Akankpa between Iwuru, where we buy unripe plantain from local farmers and process into flour for export. And then we have another factory we recently established in Calabar. So that's basically our business.
Now that sounds pretty much good, sustaining, flourishing business and all of that.
Yes.
Someone may want to ask you, with all of this, why do you think you need to be in politics?
What we do mostly, our passion first is to impact our community. Our passion, and that was the reason why we started this business. If you see this business, these agricultural businesses that we have taken from the grassroots, it's all local. It's all local. The people who work in the farm, we have over 2,000 hectares of rice field we are cultivating in Ogoja, in Cross River State, and we have well over 500 people working in that farm. Massive employment opportunities for the local people. So for us, going into business first is to see how we can empower our people. And then if we have an opportunity also to present ourselves for leadership position, we will also use that opportunity as well, to add value to what we already have, so we can be able to adequately empower our people. Because either business, politics, or whatever, the most important thing is to impact the people and let the people feel and benefit from you. So coming to marry that with politics is just like, we are in the political season, just like you earlier mentioned. And we've presented ourselves for elective office. It's very easy for you to see how people can easily connect, with us. And we want to take that to bear when we come to the National Assembly. If we are eventually elected in the general election, we have the connection of the people. We can feel the pulse of the people. We know what their needs are. We know where to meet them. We know where to influence things that will alleviate poverty create employment and service the people generally. So that can be seen to be interwoven with the political era and business. You cannot say you are a businessman then alienate yourself from leadership position, because the business you're doing, you're serving the people, because you have people in that community that are benefiting from you, that you are generating employment for that the locality and that state. So therefore, if you now participate in elective office and you are elected, it's a more higher calling to say, okay, you are now sitting at the table with government, making the right push, the right decision, the right contribution to be able to channel appropriate and adequate resources, so to say, to the people which you are already a part of.
I'm working for them. I was talking to someone. Sometimes when we want to interview guests like this, we try to call people back. I want to talk to this person. If you were in front of him, what question would you like to ask him? And he said that you're making impact already, like you said, in community, agriculture and all of that. He said they'll go down. If they carry him to Abuja, he has gone. This thing is suffering and all of that. Do you envisage a situation where these local businesses that are impacting local people may suffer because your attention 50, 60, 70, 80% might be moved to the national, where you'll be in Abuja serving as a representative?
Yeah, basically, a business is not run. Our business is a big business. It's not a one-man show business. We have a system that is already working, And why come to the National Assembly? See how politics revolves. Now, if you see how legislative business is done, it's about putting forward motions, putting forward bills, putting forward legislation that can impact your community. So who best suits that position, if not someone who is already connected with the people? Like, for instance, in my case, I'm already known in Ogoja as Mr. Ogoja Rice, for instance. So who do you think will best suit that position to represent them at the national table where the cake is shared? It's me, because I will be able to, sit and look at, okay, a lot of people come and they don't even know what the needs of the people are. Like, I have identified what the needs of our people in the local communities are. It's not about most time. Yes, the roads infrastructure are important, but the food, the stomach infrastructure, the food on the table, the empowerment by way of employment, it's also very important. So if I come to the National Assembly, I'm not going just to come and start saying forget about what is happening in your local community and concentrate in Abuja, but I'll be pushing a chunk of my drive and my motions and my oversight and everything to see how, for instance, more industries, small scale industries can be created in those local communities to empower more people. That should be the focus. Why will I come to Abuja and start shouting, say, okay, come and push for roads in the National Assembly or in the ministries so that my people can get road, when I can see some other people, the state government is doing quite well in areas of road infrastructure and all that. There are other opportunities of creating these small cottage industries that can employ, say, for instance, 15, 20 persons. These persons can live on that job and be employed, make salaries from it, and even get a pension as at when they retire. So it's very, very important that we have people in leadership position, especially elective position, who knows and feel the pulse of the people, who knows where they can channel the people's aspirations, the people's hopes, to appropriate engagement that can turn into meaningful results for our people. And that's what humanity generally should be all about. Empowering people, creating enabling environment for people to live a healthy, decent life, gainful employment so that they can support their families, when you talk about taking families out of poverty, it's creating, if you create employment for a woman like we do in Ogoja, for instance, where we have not minimum of 200 women who all they do is to come, wash, peel, process and dry unripe plantain, and we process it. These women do these things every day and they earn income monthly. And that to them is a lot than having a member who representing them at the reason, and all you're talking about is you want to see how you can give them a solar light. You want to, those things don't really impact the people or affect the people, directly. Yes, they are good, but we want to take it to another level. And that's why we know what the people want, and we know where we want to meet the people.
I see your drive, I see your passion for the common people, and this is what people want. People-centric leadership that is centered on them. But do you worry that you may not have the platform? People argue that the structure of the party is relatively new. People may not know this political party you want to fly under the umbrella and all of that. Does that give you any cause to worry that it might be a setback when you get to the general election somehow?
I'm running under the platform of the NDC, and our presidential candidate is P2B. And if you see his manifesto and his mantra, his economic mantra is all focused on moving Nigeria away from a consuming nation to a production nation. That's where the focus is. And whether you like it or not, the next election is going to be different from what people think it is. A lot of people already felt it in our primaries that we just did. Our primaries in Ogoja Yala was, heavily contested because of who I ran against. So you will see that it's not about, so to say, party per se. Party is a platform. But most importantly, people are beginning to understand that, look, we want someone who can represent us. We want someone who can deliver democracy dividends to us that will impact us directly. Not all these shenanigans of media hype. Yeah, media hyping is good and all that, but who will connect us appropriately? Just like I have expansion, who will connect us appropriately? Is a man who is already with us every now and then. Who do you think people will want to vote for in a general election? Someone because the person belongs to party A or party B, and then because the party is quite popular? No, that's not going to happen. Yes, party is a platform and a vehicle, but most importantly, individuals who have presented themselves are going to be checked based on their character, their competence, and their capacity to deliver for the people. The people are eager. They are frustrated. They want to see people who can deliver genuine democracy dividends for them. Not just someone who will just come and then sit and say this, say that, and there's no real connections. And that's what we're bringing to bear.
Do you have the grassroots mobilization? Because at the end of the day, a representative election like House of Reps has to do more with local people, and you need to go to communities. Do you have what it takes, or what modalities are you putting in place to ensure that all communities are being reached? As far as I'm from Ogoja, I'm from Mbobe, very far away from the main town, very far away from Yala and all of that. So do you have those machineries that will make sure that your message goes to the people, because you're running under a people-centric kind of agenda of moving Nigeria from consumption to production and all of that? So what's going to happen at that level?
See, my brother, you see, it's simple for us. We've worked this out a long time ago. See, we'll see. It's just a federal constituency we're talking about. I'm not running for the presidential election where you will say I have to campaign all across the country, or campaigning for governorship of Cross River State that you will say I have to campaign 18 local government in Cross River State. My federal constituency is Ogoja Yala. It's Ogoja Yala. So that said, see, there is no household you go into that you don't see our rice, Ogoja rice. And I am Mr. Ogoja rice. Imagine having rice. Imagine having rice. Rice is a staple food, for instance. I'm just giving you one instance. Rice is a staple food, for instance. And you have our rice in every household that you go to. In every household that you go to. We recently introduced the Ogoja unripe plantain flour, which is making a huge market inroad into the market. And if you know what unripe plantain flour is about, and its health benefit is majorly for most elderly people, people who have diabetic challenges, people who are battling with sugar issues and want to lose weight, people, people who have who want to maintain a healthy, balanced diet. And who are those people? Most of them are elderly people, women, and people who, and these are the same people who go to the polling unit to vote. And they all have our product. Okay, let me give you another shocker. We have also recently introduced our ever first organomineral fertilizer blending plant in Ogoja in Cross River State, having thousands of farmers benefiting from our fertilizer product. It's an organomineral fertilizer product, the Santus fertilizer. Thousands of farmers cutting across even Cross River and Benue State buy fertilizer, our organomineral fertilizer from us. So who do you think best have the connection of the local people, if not the man speaking to you? It's not just, I'm not just trying to, use something to excite you. You are a journalist, and you can run an independent media research or what you do independently of what I have said. And it's everything I say here is verifiable. Exactly. You can verify with the locals. That connection is already there.
Now people may argue, how does people knowing Ogoja rice, knowing Ogoja poundo, or plantain flour and all of that translate into votes? Because they are not giving them free, they are buying this from you.
Yes.
Now, this is a businessman that is known around here. He buys and sells and all of that. Does that convert to convincing people that this is the person to vote for? After all, they are paying you to get this product.
Not only are they paying us to get this product, we have thousands of the indigenes of Ogoja Yala working in those factories. We have not exported or imported people outside Ogoja Yala to work in those plants. No. We have our local people who are working in those plants. Like, if you know what 2,000 hectares of rice field is, you will know that it's not a small field. You need thousands of people to plow, to plant, to harvest, to do several things in the farm. And these people are local people in Ogoja. So what more connection do you need than a man who already has this grassroots connection with the people? And these people are the voters. And they are not, people don't only buy our product. They are also working, they are the ones producing these products. So tie the connections yourself, and you will see that that's why I said, look, do an independent verification about us. We are big. We are organic. Our support base is organic. We have interacted and felt and win the hearts and minds of the people by what we do. We have done meaningful, impactful projects that have committed the people to us. Imagine the vision of having to set up a rice processing factory and named it Ogoja Rice. The whole country knows that, look, when you talk about rice production, Ogoja comes first even before Abakaliki rice. But to a large extent, Abakaliki rice sometimes have gained its way because of the leaders who have done promotion and all that. And this is a man sitting before you who was the pioneer of that vision for the people. Today you go to America, you go to London, you go to Canada, you see Ogoja rice in stores and supermarkets.
How was that possible? Because this is one of the aspects that the Nigerian agricultural sector suffers, where they want to import and there are always quality checks and all of that, and some of the goods are bound. They don't meet international qualification. They don't need specification to go to, like you mentioned earlier, the United Kingdom. Those are top economies that don't accept any kind. So how were you able to make inroads such that you got the product over there? And how would you help other smaller farmers who may want to import and they are not in a large scale like you to get that kind of inroads?
That's what our job at the National Assembly will be focused on. That's what our job at the National Assembly focuses on. Try to see how we can contribute and formulate policies and programs of government in such areas where we have tested it, practicalized it, put it in motion and see it working. It's very easy for us to now come and organize such things. Like, there was a program that the federal government started, I think it was during the tenure of late President Buhari, where the Ministry of Labor and Employment was organizing, and I think they were empowering about a number of youths from the 774 local government. I've forgotten what that program is all about. And if you see the amount of money that was voted for that project, and you having to pay, those chunk of monies into individuals' accounts, some people were getting 50,000, some people were getting 100,000, and at the end of the day, the money just goes the drain without any meaningful impact. We have set up a scheme where in each of our local government, we will be proposing small cottage industries. Like, for instance, if you go abroad, whether you like it or not, you will see our Nigerian gari, you see Ijebu gari all over the globe, selling and making forex back into the country. So what stops a member or a person who is in a position of authority to channel such energy and such motions and such oversight to see that such cottage industries are set up in those local communities? If you go to the market now, you see our oil, for instance, Ogoja palm oil. You will agree with me that nobody will see an Ogoja palm oil in a shelf and want to pick another product. So these are things that we will encourage and push by our office when we eventually get elected, for government to see reason why. And government already have these institutions that have the responsibility of supporting such ventures, like the Bank of Industry, like the small and medium scale industries, and all of these kind of arrangement. What you need is the authority and the position to be able to use your office adequate to drive that through these government agencies that have those. The Bank of Agri is there, hugely the NISAL is there, the NISAL Microfinance, and all government agencies that have this responsibility. They are there, they are just waiting for the people. So you need someone who has the knowledge, the vision, has set something similar like that to be able to be in that position and push. And you will see the difference in the lives of our people.
I was speaking to someone from your constituency, from Ogoja, who just ran the state assembly election,
yes,
primary election under your party, and he raised concerns about the fact that the national is yet to release names of candidates, that are supposed to run in elections. Fine, at the local level, you've been declared you won, but before the national finishes, because now he was trying to do a campaign post and like, oh, I don't even know who's going to be my senator. I don't even know who's going to run this so I can run election. Now, does that give you cause to worry that probably things might change, or it could affect the final, the final, appeal that your party can have in the general election? Because at the national level now, there are already some cracks where, like we heard, your vice presidential candidate is having a disagreement in his native state of Kano State in terms of position share and all of that. Back home where you are you worried that now that the list has not been released, it could hamper your chances?
Well, the NDC, like you said, NDC is a new party,
yeah.
And NDC is a party that has leaders with great character and integrity. The national leader of NDC is someone who, if you check his track record, is a man with outstanding leadership quality. He is not he's a no-nonsense person when it comes to party discipline and all that. So all those fears and all those things are just born out of people who are just trying to struggle the political space to see where they can gain advantage over another party and all that. Yes, our primaries were conducted locally. The national body of the party, in its wisdom, knowing fully well that things have to be done in a different way, in a transparent way that reflects the results, has to reflect the wishes of the people, sent designated delegations to each of these local government across the 774 local government of the Federation. These officers of the party were the ones who were channeled with the responsibility to conduct a credible elections and return those credible results. So those things have been done. The question of who will turn what at the national or these things are all rumor, as far as I'm concerned. Where we conducted our election, for instance, the INEC were represented. INEC, as an electoral empire, by law, are channeled with the responsibility to say, okay, when parties are organizing their primaries, they are there to observe and they take reports. Okay, the police are there. The DSS are there to do their reports. The people who return the results are legitimate members, card-carrying members, officers and officials of the party, that the party at the national level, in its wisdom, delegated those responsibilities to carry out those functions and return results back to the party. And you can see how the leadership structure of NDC is. NDC has a national leader who is an outstanding, distinguished senator, Senator Henry Seraki Dixon. If you go and you can check his track record. He's a consistent fellow, a man who has distinguished himself as governor of Bayelsa State, served in the House of Representatives, and now a senator. Come on. The party is guided by a grounded leader who is focused and wants the right thing to be done. And now we now have the emergence of our presidential candidate, who you all know, of the person of Mr. Peter Obi. So do you think that kind of party will have any crack or any issues that these leaders cannot resolve? These are leaders who are advocating that elections should be credible, should be fair, should be credible, and people who win elections should be declared. So they are not leaders who you will say can come now and say one thing and then preach one thing and then do something else. Peter, you know, is His Excellency Peter Obi, you know, is a man of character, competence, and integrity. So I don't see how any of those issues that you have described, and with the direction of our national leader. You see, INEC has a guideline. The timetable was set for when primaries should be conducted, but there was no timeline for when results of those primaries should be published. But you know, primary elections are not conducted in sham or conducted in hidden places. It's a public this thing. People who are saying that the results have not been known, maybe are people who didn't participate in those elections. If you participate in the election, you will know that elections results are declared in the polling units. Locals are there. The media, in some places like in Ogoja, Yala, for instance, we have a situation where our elections generated a lot of attention because of one of the aspirants, Peter for Nigeria, who contested in that election. The social media people were all there. In fact, it was the first result that was announced in the primary election for the National Assembly election that was conducted. Because he, as you know, is a social media person.
What do you think gave you an advantage over him?
It's just what I have explained. You know, we have the connections of the people. Politics, as you know, it's local. It's local. So, well, he's good. He's a fantastic guy. He's a great activist. But how do you translate that to, you know, our local people? He's done quite a lot, projecting for electoral reforms, you know, pushing, demonstrating at the national. He's a fantastic guy, and he's doing very well at the national level here. But when you come and you say you want to put yourself before the local people don't know you. They know Mr. Ogoja Rice, and we are coming to contest an election in Ogoja, Yala Federal Constituency. Who do you think the local people will want to vote for?
Do you think you still have that kind of leverage when you bring the candidate of the APC, the candidate of the PDP, side by side you in the field?
Far, far. The candidate of the APC, these are people that we already know ourselves. They know where they stand. They know where they stand. I'm an employer of labor. I'm not just an ordinary politician. I have the connections of the people. So it's easy for me to tell you that, look, you can go and verify. Someone who has a fertilizer blending plant in Ogoja, you know, sometimes I don't just only sell. I have a scheme where I support farmers on my own. I have a farmers outgrower scheme where I even give farmers fertilizers, agrochemicals, inputs, and they return some of these things at the end of their harvest. And they are happy with me. And who are these people that vote? These are the same people that are working in our industries, participating in our activities, and all.
I like how confident you sound, and I really wish you the very best.
Thank you.
We'll have to do a part 2 of this interview.
Thank you.
For want of time, I want you to, assuming you're addressing, this is Ogoja now, Ogoja Yala Federal Constituency. This is me. representing. What is that message you want to pass to them right now? Assuming you are looking at Ogoja people in a crowd, in a rally, on a TV set. Let's hear it.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the Ogoja people know who they want to lead them. Without any equivocation, the Ogoja Yala people know who they want to lead them. They know that they want leaders who are genuine, who can feel their hearts and minds, who can connect with them, who can impact them. Someone who they know can represent them at the national table. And I think without any doubt, that person is me, Chief of Honor Paul Santus, the Mr. Ogoja Rice. I don't have any doubt whatsoever about that. You can verify it anytime, any day. And I am telling them that, look, this is an opportunity for them to now put their best forward so that their genuine desires and aspirations can be brought before the national table and they can get more. That's all I can say. And I believe my people will do the right thing at the right time.